There has been so much tension of most recent time in Nigeria, and this has given, of course, rise to many anxiety and concerns building up. This borders, of course, across the security, the welfare, and the economy of the Nigerian people. Nigeria is said to be not a poor country, but having over 90 to 95% of her population impoverished. I mean, multidimensionally poor. What would have given rise to this normally or mishaps, of course, within the system? I've raised so many concerns. Some say that this is because of the tension and misgovernance. It's a function of a failing leadership or a failing country resulting from a failing leadership. And this failure is not just limited to the political class, but it cuts across the facets of existence as a people. Not even the military could be absorbed of this complexity. Of course, recently you saw the blame game, the military or the military hierarchy coming to apologize to Nigerians for the level of casualty or massacre that was recorded in one of the communities in Kaduna State. They claim that this was an error, of course, or miscalculation. So they mistook, of course, the worshippers for Boko Haram. But the questions needed to be clarified is, are they armed? During your air surveillance, do you see them with any sort of ammunition or explosive? So why should you commit such blunder? Is a war crime. You cannot say because you are pursuing after the bandits who are well armed to the teeth, and you ended up killing several scores of innocent citizens of this country. Of course, to this end, we come to discuss why should such error be repeated. It has been a recurrent decimal. But the unfortunate thing is that people seem to be biased and insensitive and inability of the masses to remain on, of course, unbiased on issues of national matters has brought us to this unfortunate situations. Just for instance, this is not the first time the military are committing such blunder or what I will call the error. Administrative error, because in their discharge or of their duty to the nation. This has not been the first time they were bombarding innocent individuals, mistaking them for Boko Haram or non-government. It has happened in the East on several occasions, but people seem not to be concerned about the plight and agony of the southeastern people who have been subjected to this level of cruelty and war crimes by the military. Some said, well, every casualty or victim of this unguided bombardment was taken or mistaken to be an IPOB. And nobody called for the compensation of these victims. And everybody kept mute and quiet. Even the supposed opinion leaders or political leaders in the East, of course, the governors felt indifference about the plight of the people, and they left everyone to his fate. It is quite sad because such issues are not being addressed. It's, of course, keep on repeating itself. That is what we are just seeing. The bombardment of the Kaduna villages, of course, is not just new, but unfortunately it has gotten to the northern hemisphere once again. So whatever comes around goes around. Evil does to man, evil man does to man, and must be redressed, if not by God, by man, of course. If not now, certainly later in the future. But the reality is that the victory of evil over goods is temporal and cannot be permanent. When we fail to pay attention to what is happening to others because it has not gotten to us, we might expect that we might be the next victim. It is quite sad, and such society cannot survive. So, wherever you see evil, it should be condemned by all, regardless of your political interests or affiliations. Evil is evil. The evil meted out a particular people should not be considered as something they deserve. And when it gets to another person, imagine the entire northern elders and opinion thoughts. Of course, they're calling for the compensation of these victims, of course, which is the right thing. And no compensation could, of course, in any way compensate the victims and their loved ones. The level of psychological damage and emotional trauma they might, of course, live throughout their lifetime will not be equated to any form of monetary compensation or incentive, of course, as a way of compensating them. But the reality is that, of course, what is good to the goods also is good to the genders, and this should be considered as a priority if we want to build a nation that could be, of course, anchored on fairness, equity, and justice. I'm so much saddened by this number of casualties massacred by the supposed administrative error, of course, of the military. But unfortunately, they have proven to Nigeria that are not, of course, well trained to master, of course, the airstrike and surveillance operations. And there is a poor coordination with respect to that. Because if you are making use of the air, it must be a place that is well volatile. But these communities were not volatile. You should have your men on the ground, of course, to have the proper coordination. But that is quite sad that humanity is brought to such lowest ebb. How long would this continue to happen? Well, the president has called for an inquest, of course, into this. Well, let's see what becomes of that and what may come out of that, if actually there is, because we are left with so much doubt whether there could be anything that could be unraveled contrary to what we have been hearing. Because and the sensitivity and the commitment and sincerity on the part of the supposed panel of inquiry that may be set up to unravel this mystery behind what is called this guided catastrophe. I know it was not an accident, but it's a human error and miscalculations, and it's quite sad. But then, could they be trusted, of course, to deliver such justice? Becomes an issue of concern to every responsible as humanity within this contraction. It is quite sad, but then once again my heart goes to the bereaved families and communities, and of course to humanity who has lost another 120 humanity without any justifiable cause. Is it because they found themselves within Nigeria? How comes the bandits are infiltrating the communities and borders of Nigeria? And we still claim we have borders, we have immigrations, we have customs, and we have people manning the borders. Shouldn't they be held responsible for once and, of course, brought to book for failure to protect the territorial integrity or sovereignty of the state? If they claim to be sovereign, they should be able to control, of course, what goes out and comes in. and there should be proper surveillance, area surveillance, and land surveillance as well. But this is a far cry to the realities on the ground. On Sunday, we continue to watch and see how things unfold here. Whatever happens, that is a reality. It is not a fiction. It's a reality staring at us. But quite sad. My concern is, why is the political leaders from the eastern region not calling for compensations of those whose business areas were bombarded, like Ekototo and of course surroundings of villages, houses that were blown up in error? Why are the southeastern governors, the southeastern traditional leaders and opinion thoughts, of course, or leaders not calling for compensation? But see how the entire northern elders and of course political elite are calling for immediate inquest and compensation to those victims and their families. It is quite sad. I'm so disappointed at the level of ineptitude and irresponsibility and insensibility of the political class within the eastern region. That is not just to say that the people who lost their life does not deserve, of course, to be compensated, but how much would be enough, of course, to wipe off their tears and, of course, save them from the emotional trauma they might live all through their life. It's quite sad that there's a report that this bombardment came twice, so this is not an error. If the first one was an error, could the second one also be considered an error? If the first bombardment within the same community was an error, could the second bombardment considered to be an error? That is the fundamental
You won't
issue.
put me for trouble, this man. What you're about to push it?
The community of the Kaduna villagers that were bombarded said the military bombarded twice. Now the question is, if the first bombardment was assumed to be an error, leading to scores of casualties of innocent citizens, was the second bombardment also an error or an intentional act? We might exempt, of course, the first, exonerate the military for the first bombardment. What led to the second bombardment?
Anyway, my name is Lucky Ayaguna. I don't know the Lagos. I want to give 1 minute silence to those who lost their life. Innocent people that lost their life. 1 minute silence, my brother. Maybe I saw press a perfect peace, but I will move on. You see, my brother, I want to first of all tell Nigerians, why are we paying the ministry? Why are we wasting money for the ministry? We have Air Force, we have Army, we have police. Army is to take on ground any element on ground. Air Force is to be on air. Police is to be on ground. What is Army bombing for? If there's any intelligence, Air Force supposed at least to take that in charge of that particular bomb, not Army. Air Force deny they are not the one. Army admit they are the one. Error. And those people, they were celebrating that whether Easter or Christmas, whatever. As a Muslim, they call it Maulud. I don't know how to call it.
Malu.
Maulud. Without intelligence, without checking. Don't forget, an American came here, was kidnapped. American came and rescued that one, just one person. They did not come anywhere. So automatically, if me and you gather here now, doing party, Army can just come and bomb.
We are not even safe as we are in now because anything can happen and they call it an error.
Now, which error? As there's some chief of army staff supposed to resign now. It's another word.
With immediate effects.
and they still keep him. That well done, what he's doing.
We call for his resignation with immediate effect.
But will make a mistake, and they will say it's an error.
Just imagine everybody making mistake.
Everybody, police will make
blunder.
Mistake. They will say it's an error. You will replace somebody that kills somebody. You will not say it's an error. So now the highest money they voted for army budget is the highest. You know how much? Now, what kind of training are they receiving? That the government will be dealing with us, the civilian, while the military will be dealing. Where are we? Are we safe? We are not safe. My brother, it's very, it's unfair that what happened in Kaduna is mere politics. The APC government, they come to destroy. Since how many days now I have no light? Look at now, we are all carrying charger everywhere.
Charger looking for where to charge.
And you budget billions, and president budget 15.something billion just to travel to go and enjoy himself. 8 vice president, 8. How many of them? Now you are bombing innocent people, killing innocent people in Kaduna. And you are now coming, you want to call compensation to them. And the sovereign lost 35 family.
Yes, one now, particular family, 35 persons.
Which kind of country are we? Nigeria full of error. Nigeria full of witchcraft. Nigeria full of deceit by the government. These same people they are bombing, so-called Boko Haram. The same government that trained them. Gumi. Now, I want to ask a question. There was a time Gumi brought all these militants, Boko Haram together, and said they are asking for justice. The government did not see the data. Why government not go there and bomb them? So, my brother, we are not safe. So, even our party we say want to hold, I want to allow them to know that we are holding our party also so day, so that they will not come and bomb the place.
Please don't disclose the
we have to let them know so they will not go and bomb us.
Don't disclose the location, please.
Now they say when you gather now, they say they are terrorists. I don't understand. So, my brother, army, police, Air Force, very soon now, Navy will leave water. They will go up, start shooting up there instead of saying the water. Nigeria is a decent country. I'm telling you.
Honestly, and finally, the same error has been repeated in the eastern region. You see where a Kitutu market was bombarded, and military claimed they were pursuing unknown gunmen or IPOB or whatever they call them. But they ended up bombarding innocent citizens, killing scores of them and their properties. They lost their houses and all that. And there was no compensation. Nobody called for adequate compensation of those people. They were left at the mercy of whatever happens to them. But you see the northern elders, everybody calling for compensation, for an inquest into what happened. So what exactly is happening? When it happens to a particular people feel less concerned. When it happens to other regions, they are considered as the first-class citizens.
Now, it happened in Imo State. The same error. Nothing was said there. The elder did not come out, just the way the elders are coming out in the north. Something is wrong with that southeast. They are necessary to come out. Not only just for Nnamdi Kanu this. When something is wrong, it's wrong. They need to come out and ask for compensation. I don't understand me. But our military need to think for them. You don't kill innocent people and say an error. Which error? They have to do the intelligent work. They have to make sure that we don't. We pay them with our tax money.
Imagine they are being paid.
You are reducing us. Even in Israel and Hamas, where they are fighting with bomb there, they still at least still see some civilian area, avoid civilian area. Our own here, we don't care. We just throw bomb. I've told you, Army was not trained to be firing bomb. It was Air Force. To tell you that they don't know what they are doing. Military, Air Force, They are forget they are enjoying. Army supposed to relocate their barrack to bush. The reason is that why you are seeing Boko Haram bandit is where they are. How many military did you see them there? Taking care of the villager, the community. Is this Boko Haram bandit are the ones supplying them food, supply them money? That's why you see the villager can play with them. When you don't have no police, if you even Lagos here, let me take you to Lambert. You can walk for 1 hour, no see police. Even police station. I get me. You will not see one police. So now, if one madman will just come and start organizing things for them, take care. They will love the person. Why do I provide the feel of government just as I am now? If Boko Haram can't give me light now, I enjoy light. I go worship Tata. Abi, where are they see government? Government is supposed to bring all this thing for us. No light, I can't buy fuel. To charge. I get me carrying my charger up and down. Now, that's what is happening in the north. Most of these bush area where villagers stay, you can't see police, you can't see army.
Honestly, that is the
only
issue.
you see is the bandits. I get me. Police, army, instead of them to locate to inside those villages and take care of the people, they are here enjoying with us here. All our women, they enjoy the best women. They enjoy the best women. They enjoy everything. Imagine putting army barrack to Bonny camp. What is army barrack doing in Bonny camp? Guarding the rich men. I get me. They should take them to bush, go and kill animals there and bring for us.
No, the Western world, you can't see an animal.
In China, all the army, they are in farm. In China, all the army, they are in farm.
And when they
You always see police.
cover them with
How can you put army cantonment in Ikeja? Bonny camp, Ikoyi.
in the city, army.
Then the other one, Badagry.
All in the city,
All
sited
in the
within
city.
the
All
civilian
in the
settlement.
city. So what do you expect? So the bandits have taken over the bush local area, and they are feeding them, giving them everything. Do you think those villagers will give information to the military? Nigeria should think very well.
Thank you so much for your wonderful. Honestly, discussing Nigerian issue is hypertensive and very disgusting, very disturbing. Honestly, it leaves one's psychological state, of course, dwindling, and that is not good. But then, what can we do? We'll continue to, of course, intimate all our sundry of what is happening in this country, and of course. Hopefully, believing somehow or someday there could be a way out of this, but the reality keep on staring at us. When, how, and where do we start?